All right, everybody, how you doing? We're gonna play ourselves some Super Castlevania 4 this time around. I have not played this in a little bit. Usually, I save this for when I just before thanks. Let me try that again here. Jeez, just before Halloween. I usually play this in October, but because I want it to be cooler, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna play it now. So 1991, this came out not too long after the Super Nintendo hit store shelves. I'll go ahead and I'll put my name in here. And I'll try and keep my controller out of the way of the microphone. You are going to hear some clicking, and I apologize for that. So, I didn't get the Super Nintendo at launch. I got it about a month and a half after it had come out. And I just so many memories of this system. I didn't get it at launch, but friends did. So we would go to this one friend's house. His name was also Peter. There were three of us named Peter in this group, if you can believe it. And we would play on his fairly big TV, and it was mind-blowing. We were coming from 8-bit graphics to this, and it looked as great as it sounded. And so when I got mine, obviously I was going to get this when it came out, because all of the video game magazines had talked about how great this game is. And so, I mean, it made perfect sense to go ahead and buy it, right? So when I bought it, I had my Super Nintendo hooked up to a stereo system. It was like a personal stereo system, one of those like tabletop deals. And just the music itself got me to actually tape it. I would tape the music, and I would listen to the music in my car. It was that good, and it still is that good, if we're being honest. And you can hear it now over my commentary here. I had a very difficult time beating this game when it came out. I was no expert. I still struggle with it from time to time when I play it, but now I'm fairly good at getting through it. There are some stages in the game that give me a hard time. There's no question about that. But I can usually persevere, and I can get through without any kind of password. If I'm being honest, that's how I beat the game the first time, was using passwords that were in video game magazines that would get you to later stages of the game. And that's just kind of what we did when games frustrated us back then. Whoa, that was close. Now, I had heard about Castlevania before playing it, but I had not really played a lot of Castlevania games myself. This was the first Castlevania game that I had played, and I fell in love with it. But in thinking back, I really don't consider myself a big fan of the NES games. They're good, especially Castlevania 3, but it's not a series that I would find myself going back to on the NES very much, if at all. Even with the Castlevania Anniversary Collection, like, I have access to the games and good versions of the games at that, but I don't see myself going back and playing those. I always go back to this game here, or to Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the PlayStation, which, by the way, needs to come out on Switch at some point. Like, let's stop kidding ourselves. Here we go. Of course, the whip action is one of the cooler parts of this game. Look out. There we go. And one more time. I do try and get everything when I play now. You know, I try not to miss any candles, and I really do go for high score, and that is not the main thing. The main thing, obviously, is to try and just beat the game. But for me, I like the idea of scoring. I'm an arcade rat, so going for high scores is a pretty big deal. So that's why you don't see me use too many items. Oops. No, that's not what I wanted. we go. So this game came out in 91. That would have made me 19. So playing this makes me feel old. 19 was a good year. 19 and 20 were good years for a variety of reasons. The full-time job that I had working for the phone company was just awesome. Living with roommates, it was being like adulting for the first time, but adulting in a situation where we were always going to be in good shape. Like if my roommates and I were ever in any trouble, like one of my roommates, their parents or her parents would always kind of come through and help us out. So I was learning to be older and to be more responsible, but at the same time, I was in a pretty safe situation. So that was pretty neat. I got my license at 19, and you can laugh all you want. It took me several tries to get my driver's license, but it was not my fault. Here in the state of Massachusetts, when you take a driving exam, you have to have a sponsor with you, and the rule here is that your sponsor cannot say anything to you during the test. If they talk to you about anything, you made a wrong turn, you forgot to stop, whatever the situation is, if they say anything, then you fail. You go right back to the RMV or the DMV, and that's the end of the story. And my paternal grandmother, who I've talked about on stream and on YouTube a lot, I was very lucky to have a grandparent like that who looked out for me like she did. But the downside was that my grandmother, both times that she sponsored me in a driving test, spoke out, thinking that I made a wrong turn or that I forgot to do something, and I wound up failing both times. It wasn't until I had moved on and I moved to Oxford with my roommates that I actually passed. And yeah. So I've been driving since I was 19. And I think I've told the story. Maybe I haven't. There we go. I had to finish them off. I got into an accident within 2 weeks of getting my license. I backed into a brand new truck. And yeah, that was not good. I was driving my roommate's car at the time. And so my roommate was mad, and obviously the guy whose truck I hit was upset, and it was just all kinds of bad. It was not the way that I really wanted to start my driving career. But you live and learn, and you know, I did eventually go back to driving, and I've been fairly safe since. I've had a couple of minor incidents since. You know, that was 91. It's now 2021, so that's 30 years. I think I've had one incident when I was in a car. Two incidents when I was in a car. One was my fault, kind of. That one really made me mad. I was driving to see my then girlfriend at the time. It was Valentine's Day. I was going to surprise her. She lived in Worcester. I was living in Chicopee, which is well west of there at the time. So I was going to surprise her, and it had snowed just before I had left, so the roads were a little icy, and I thought a truck was moving into my lane, so I hit the brakes, and I kind of fishtailed, and it was bad. I wound up hitting a guardrail, and I really screwed up the car good. I folded up my exhaust like a straw. I was able to get home, but the car was only able to go like 35 or 40 miles an hour on like a major highway. So that was bad. And I'll never forget, I got to her house, and her dad happened to be a mechanic, and I said, you know, I need help. And he just like, what did you do? What did you do? And I was never able to fix the car. So I wound up going from a 1980 Olds Cutlass to like a 1984 Ford Tempo, which was twice as small and had only an AM radio. So I listened to a lot of talk radio for a while. And yeah, so that was once. And then the other time that I was driving was not my fault. I had someone who had a medical issue clip my car. I was able to kind of mostly get out of the way, but not entirely. But that one was not my fault, so I didn't get in any kind of insurance trouble for that one. And that's been it. There was one incident where I was not in my car. Someone backed into it when I was at a bar, and that was actually the tempo. And they destroyed the gas tank, so the car had to be totaled. So that sucked. But again, that one wasn't my fault, so I don't feel anything about that one, except missing the car and having to buy a new car pretty much right away because the insurance company's like, yep, can't do anything. That stunk. But that's part of being an adult, I guess. So we're moving right along here. Stupid birds. So this game turns 30 this year. The Super Nintendo here in North America turns 30 very soon. I'm hoping to talk about it on YouTube and on TikTok and things. I have a lot of great memories with the console. I think it's fantastic. It is definitely up there if you're talking about like favorite video game consoles of all time. It's up there. I don't know whether I would put it like at the very top, because I think that the PlayStation or PS2 kind of can lay claim to that title, but this is definitely one of my favorites. There's no question. And this game is one of my favorite games for the console. I had mentioned to Billy from the Game Chasers, I was in his stream a couple of nights ago, and I mentioned to him that I have a problem because I have this game on a ton of platforms. Obviously, I'm playing it now on the computer. I have it for the 3DS, I have it for the Super Nintendo, I have it for the Wii U, and I have it for the Switch. I had it for the Xbox 360 and the PS4 when I had those. There's just something about this game that I can't get over. It's great. For a while, for probably like 5 years or so, I considered this to be my second favorite Castlevania. Symphony of the Night had kind of won me over from like 97 through like the first half of the 2000s maybe. And then once this came out for the Wii Virtual Console and I started to play it again, I realized the error of my ways. This, in my view, is the superior game. And it's not anything to do with Symphony of the Night being bad or being inferior by any stretch. I just like the more direct approach rather than the open world and kind of walking around and wondering where I'm going. I prefer this instead. As we move on to stage 3 here. Just absolutely gorgeous music here. And if you're listening to this with stereo headphones or through stereo speakers, you can hear like the stereo separation and a little bit of the reverb going on, and it's exquisite. It's so good. Like hearing the droplets fall. And now we kind of take it for granted because games have been in stereo for years and years and years. But back in 91, listening to this through a stereo system and the attention to detail with the sound coming from an NES, which had no stereo in it at all, it was mind-blowing stuff. And now I just appreciate it for what it is. It was a game that was ahead of its time in many categories. Y'all don't know, this is a secret over here. And a pork chop, or chicken leg, or whatever they want to call it. Oh, there we go. I did not want to do that, and I did it anyway. Holy water in this game, it's kind of useless. At least to me. Get rid of the mudmen. There we go. You do notice one of the issues with the Super Nintendo that carries over here is the slowdown issue. The Super Nintendo, all of you know by now, had a slower CPU than the Genesis, so there were multiple games that had these slowdown problems. It was just something you accepted if you owned just the Super Nintendo at the time, but you definitely noticed it if you had a Genesis, which was considerably faster in terms of CPU speed. The best thing about being an adult at this time, though, is that working for a living, you didn't have to settle for just one console. A little more than a year after I got my my Super Nintendo, I got my Genesis. So I had both. I didn't miss anything. If there was a game that I really wanted to play, I was able to either rent or buy it and play it. I didn't have to worry about taking sides. I could just kind of enjoy things as they were. So I was kind of boring in that I really didn't take part in the console wars all that much. And my friends, being adults themselves, like, we really didn't all that much because we were all game fans, so we owned all of them. So we really didn't miss anything. But if you read video game magazines like Sega Visions or Nintendo Power, which were console specific or company specific, you definitely got some of that trash talk that went on. I do think the trash talk back then was a lot more, or a lot less harsh. Trash talk in the internet era is just brutal. I try not to engage in it because it's not good. I didn't want to do that either. Darn it. This is where mistakes can be made. Just like that. I knew I made it too. As soon as I jumped, I knew I made a mistake. So I didn't get into the console wars at all. And I don't feel bad about that. Now, had I been like 5 years younger and I was still in high school, maybe I would have engaged, especially if I could only afford one console at the time. And if I'm being honest, probably would have been the Super Nintendo. I probably would have preferred that over the Genesis. I've appreciated the Genesis more in my adult years than I would have during its initial release. And especially with my relationship with old sports games, it makes sense because sports games on the Genesis are so far and above, in most cases, what the Super Nintendo could do. Especially when you're talking about EA games and how it took Electronic Arts a long time to be able to achieve parity, or at least reasonable parity, between the Genesis and the Super Nintendo versions of their games. But you've seen me play PGA Tour Golf. I've talked a lot about how much I love that game. Gotta be careful here. That's just a heart. I'm not going to care about that because it already killed me once. So I love playing sports games in the Genesis. And, for example, like NBA Jam, which is, although there are issues with the controller, the Genesis version does a lot of things that the Super Nintendo doesn't. So I tend to prefer the Genesis version of Jam, and at least Jam. Jam TE is a lot closer to even. So I'll play that on the Super. But not the original Jam, if I can help it. There we go. Oh boy. Oh, I did what I didn't want to do. Not even gonna worry about the handles. There we go. Come on. There we go. Stupid bone dragon. A lot of this is muscle memory for me now. No, I'm not gonna let that go to waste. Like, I know a lot of what's coming. I don't know why I did that. That wasn't smart. Smartest thing I could have done today. Gotta watch out for the mermen. Because if they get you with that stream there, they knock you off. Oh, okay. Got a moonwalk. It's one of the weird things about this game that I love so much. Like, you have the ability to do, like, the moonwalk up the stairs or down the stairs. Whoa, no. Did not need to make my life that difficult, and I did it anyway. Okay, there's nothing over there. Here we go. So I've lost one life. That's not bad. Oh. I can't believe I did that. That's 2 lives gone. Nice job, Dunderhead. Can't believe I did that. I mean, I can. Because it's me. Maybe I'll blame the kidney stone for this one. If you haven't watched the update video that I posted to YouTube, I passed a kidney stone a few days ago. That was not fun. They never are. It is my second one. The first one was in... was in 2013. It was in January of 2013, so I knew that I was going to get another one. Like, when... That's the thing about kidney stones, is science says that when you get one, if you have one that you pass, the odds are that you're going to pass another within 10 years. And this one happened to me, let's see, so 2013, and so 8.5 years. So it is right in line with what was said. I did it to myself. I was not really taking really good care of myself during the you-know-what. Not keeping up with my water intake. I was drinking way too much soda, and I knew it. So I'm in better shape now. I haven't had any Pepsi now in like 10 days. I may go back to having a little bit, limit myself to like a glass. Limit myself to having a glass here and there. But I will be better this time. Whoa. Alright, I gotta pay attention here. 1 second. There we go. Of course, you gotta jump up to get the orb. So I didn't take very good care of myself over the last 1.5 years. So that was a wake-up call. So I've been better. I haven't had as much Pepsi. I've been better with water, Gatorade. Gonna be drinking more lemonade, too. They say that citric acid is good for kidney stones, so I'll be trying to do that as well. Stage 4. Probably my favorite stage in the game, and you'll see why if you haven't played the game. One of the things that you'll notice is that if you look at the skulls on the wall as I go by, like, notice how they follow where you go? Like, to me, that's such a cool level of attention to detail. And this was a game that came out 30 years ago and was doing that. You know, you don't see a lot of games do that today, so I think that's pretty cool. No. We'll wait. And up the stairs. I think I'll wait for the knife to go away. There we go. Those quick jumps right there are one of the reasons why Castlevania on, like, non-CRTs can be a real problem. CRTs being old school TVs. Because of the input lag, like, you really have to account for jumping, and you have to do it faster. And there's another area in the game, I don't know whether we're going to get there in this video or not. Oh! Well, you get some life and you take it back. Where the jumping has to be precise like that, and it becomes problematic. Mega Man is another game, like Mega Man 2, for example, where it has those precision jumps, like over disappearing platforms. Like, with any kind of input lag, it becomes a real issue. That was close. Alright. So, one of the things the Super Nintendo is best known for is something called Mode 7 technology, where it can rotate and scale background images. And that's what you're seeing here. This rotating room is the first use that I remember of Mode 7 that really blew me away. And I know that F-Zero uses it too, but in this particular case, seeing the entire room rotate like that is just awesome. And mind-melting at the time, because we'd never seen a video game console at home do anything like that. Come on. There we go. So now we have to wait for the floor to build in. And again, if you have stereo speakers or sound, like the reverb effect of the floor building in is just super cool. And now the other cool Mode 7 feature is this further rotating room. Now, this really taxes the Super Nintendo, as you can see, as it's just running super duper slow. But the background rotating like that is just crazy. Ah. The thing about slowdown like that is it can affect your jumping and your other reflexes, so you gotta be really careful. Oh boy. I might make it through here, but getting back to traditional play is gonna be tough because I just have one sliver of life left. Oh, no, that's not what I thought it was. Oh, that's it. That's okay, because we'll start right from here. This, you just have to know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, you're in trouble. Like here, you gotta wait. And then you gotta go. And you gotta be quick because you can get caught in the middle. And here I just take the shortcut. I don't mess around with trying to find anything else. These spikes are instant death traps, so you gotta be very careful and very precise. And then here you just have to run. Or walk briskly. There we go. There we go again. I think it's boss time. And we get some more Mode 7 here. Not only did we have the rotation, but now we have the scaling effects. Yeah, I'm gonna be dead. It's okay. It is okay. Gotta be better. Wish I had a better weapon there. Gotta wait. Okay. I don't think I have any weapons now. Oh, but I'll get one here. Alright, let's walk. Oh, maybe not. No, I will. Right here. Alright, so I gotta watch the falling blocks. Be nice if there was an extra life somewhere around here, but there just aren't any. Walk up the stairs. There we go. Okay. So you gotta watch the blocks. Notice how the boss is getting smaller with every hit. And he's gone. And then he zooms in, get that scaling, and then out. There we go. And that takes you through stage 4. And that is where we're going to leave it for now. And maybe we'll do more of this. You'll have to let me know in the comments whether you want to see more of this game streamed. So until the next time, my friends, take care of yourselves and each other. Thanks very much for watching. And again, we'll do it again real soon. See ya.